Take me to that happy hour I never had. Show me the girl I never met, I want it so bad. Where is that golden palace? Where is that whore called destiny? I think she ran on without me.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon Bible Study. This will be our last before my vacation. So we'll be off for a week. All our classes will be stopped for a week, and then we'll pick up with more vim and vigor than we had before. By the way, I'm really pleased with my students. You guys are doing a fantastic job, just a fantastic job. We have a great show tonight for you. We're going to start off with the disease, and we're going to end with the cure. Some excitement tonight, a few reels for you, a little bit of play with some video, and we will watch the bride burn. Our first issue tonight is an update coming to us from Kentucky at the end of a revival. Yes, at the end of a revival. Roll it.
And what God started here a week ago is showing no signs of stopping. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Asbury University in Wilmore, Kentucky.
Well, apparently it's infectious. Lee University is already seeing a similar move. I know of many universities sending delegations there in hopes that they can catch it.
A shout out to all the witches and their poxery. Today I want to jump right into a little bit of our present. We're pulling from the past and we're pulling from the future into this moment. And at this moment, I want you to be able to see what's around you. And I want you to be able to appreciate where we are. A little bit of the museum wrapped up in some video. I'd like you to watch. I'm going to play you this first video, and then I'm going to read to you a Vice, an article by Vice, which I think is the last true journalistic holdout. What these reporters do, what they get is, it's the difference between what you buy in the store that's processed and what grows out of the ground. It's the real stuff. It's the real stuff. I want you to take a look tonight. Tonight we invite to a Bible study an authority on the Bible, and just to put the right person to set the stage for you to see maybe what it's all about.
An almost perfect jumble. French routinely trips over the wise Turk, foolish Christian trope. Whether he refers to it or not, it is always running in the background. Quote, the most prominent apologetics ministry in the United States was run by an abuser of women. You have perhaps the largest Christian camp housing one of the worst super predators in American life for a decade plus and then covering it up. You could go down the line. And time again, I hear Christians say, we need more Christians in power. And I'm thinking, do we though? Close quote. What he wants is more people in power who actually act like Christians. So do I. He wants Christian values to govern, but is not willing to call them that. So he wants our virtuous actions in the public square to be the kind of thing that can spring up anywhere, like Athena from the head of Zeus. No, not the head of Zeus. Too religious, too denominational. We want a secular Athena to emerge from an unspecified cupboard of vanilla virtue. The cupboard is located in the back of the house. We're not sure where exactly. He wants to capture the vapors of civic virtue that are seeping out of the mystery box. He wants generally Christian-friendly virtue without having to name the name of Christ.
You can see the symbols coming forward. right? Take the left-handed path. Let's follow where he goes with it.
But here's the catch. That doesn't exist. The virtues that David French loves and respects and fights for are virtues that are not like Melchizedek. The virtues that are embedded in our customs, mores, and laws, and which are barely hanging on anymore, are not, quote, without father or mother. Our public virtues are not without genealogy. They actually had a beginning of days. They grew up in the black soil of a robust Christian consensus, as Francis Schaeffer cogently argued, and ever since the day we decided to transplant them all into this white powdery chalk, they have done quite poorly. And the more they wilt, the more David French lectures those Christians who want to put them back in their original soil.
So we see what we've got in front of us, and you say, oh, this is ridiculous that we're having to go into this because these people don't have any influence. No, it turns out they do. And it turns out your government is being attacked right now. Right now. The insurrection is happening. Historically, people, we don't have flights of fancy in small units over time. There are movements that rise against the government, against the powers that be. And those movements start through this web of what Doug Wilson is weaving. Yes, he's an open advocate for overthrowing the powers that God does not deem to be of his standard. Yes, yes. So today the theme in the background is, as the bride burns, is the idea of this voice of democracy, this voice of where it came from, right? How does it come out? How does it bring itself to life after centuries of lying and rest under tyranny? How does it bubble forth out of the soil? Vice News published an article about Doug and his escapades, and it's titled "Inside the Church That Preaches Wives Need to Be Led with a Firm Hand." With a firm hand. I want to read a quote to you. Depending upon whom you ask, the town either hosts a Calvinist utopia or a patriarchal cult in which women must submit or face discipline at home and at church. I'm not sure why that's an either or. You know, you can have both of those. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can have that as an either or. Yeah, they just go together. They go together. I want to tell you the story of Gene, but I want to read it to you from the journalist. By the way, we need the name of Sarah. Yeah, Sarah Stonkorb. Excuse me if I've mispronounced your name, Sarah, but kudos to you. Kudos to you for the work that you've done. Thank you. As an American, thank you. Thank you. Let's look at what they're saying here. Well, she says, to learn about Christ Church's culture of abuse and social control, Vice has interviewed 12 former and current church members and Logos students. Logos is what they have. Logos is what they have, school they have set up, because this monstrous Taliban guy is bringing forward a form of control that is impacting a lot of people. Yeah, so what Vice has done is they dug into the individuals, bring out the witnesses. Look, watch through the eyes of Gene. Here we go. I just want to read this. During Gene's first year as a non-matriculating student at New St. Andrews. Oh, by the way, I was saying about the Logos. They've tried to capture the Logos by creating an academy, what they call a classical academy, right? By the Romans said, hey, man, the Christians, they can't teach. You can't allow them to teach, right? And everybody's like, oh, it was because they were corrupting the text in order to bring about the overthrow of the authorities. Surprise, surprise. Here they are with their ancient Confederate flags trying to bring down the Union. Yeah, surprised? Is anybody surprised? Does anybody smell? I smell something. It's probably coming from Florida. Amazing. Yeah. So she matriculated at Christ Church's college of about 150 students. She met a charming, handsome upperclassman. And by the way, this is going to be rough, so hold on to your stomachs. But this is history and life. And we're investigating what happened in that garden, right, with that naked boy that he was arrested with. Right. So this is all part of it. Let's see. So Jean met that's not her name. Jean met a charming, handsome upperclassman. His father was a deacon at Mother Kirk, right, at the church. By her second year, they started dating, and soon he said he wanted to marry her. I had stars in my eyes, remembers Jean. But then he got physical. I was a virgin, and it scared me. Within their first year of dating, heavy petting turned to coercive sex. He'd get her drunk and refuse to accept her wishes not to have sex. He refused condoms. Jean, who had been raised on a steady diet of purity movement books, felt like she had no choice but to marry him. There's that sanctity. There's that sanctity of marriage right in your face. This is the sanctity, right? As we're going in, we're getting ready to burn the bride, right? The sanctity of marriage. This is their idea. Yeah. Jean, who had been raised on a steady diet of purity movement books, felt like she had no choice but to marry him. Was somehow unclean and unworthy. Before they got married, she joined the church, taking covenant vows in front of the congregation. After her vows, Kirker came up and shook her hand, saying how beautiful she was. Ew. Okay, can I just say ew? Just leave it on me. I just want them to get this on me. Gross, first of all, inappropriate and gross. But watch this. That's a big deal, she says, to men in leadership. They brag about how their women are more beautiful than pagan wives. Yeah, this is now, here and now, right? This is what's going on. The wedding, leave me up there, please. The wedding officiated by Wilson, okay, was 4 years after she moved to Moscow. Starting 9 months after they were married, they had a baby every other year until the couple had 4 children. One night, after their first was born, her husband came home drunk after she was asleep. He pulled her over, lifted her nightgown. She told him not tonight, that she was tired. He got angry. She tried clawing away, then pushing him away with her arms. He pinned her down, so she used her legs to kick him. That's when he unbuttoned his pants. And Jean says, when he was done, he passed out drunk, and I locked myself in the bathroom and cried. She was bruised, and her insides bled. She called a Kirker friend about it the next day. The friend attended a Christ Church plant, a seedling congregation based in Christ Church's doctrine and culture. Wait a minute, what? Remember what Thomas Jefferson said? Greatest threat to the fledgling American democracy is the Christian church. Yeah. Look at it. See it for what it is. You people have gone back. You've seen the Bacchic movements. You've seen the Christianity that was oppressed and attempted to be suppressed and put out before they burned down Rome. Yeah. Now you understand why the Romans were all about, if it doesn't interfere with government, right? If they're not trying to stop the government, we don't care what they do. But it's when they step over that line. Wilson is not only across that line, he is miles beyond it with an army of what you and I could could come up with names for, but maybe victims is one of the names you might come up with. Yeah, I hate to put Jean in that category. You know what I mean? Yeah. She said, the woman that she talked to said the same thing was going on in her marriage. Marital rape, it seemed, was normal. So Jean didn't report it. Jean's husband raped her over and again a couple of times a week for about a decade. Seriously? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Either with violence or by waiting until after she took a prescription sleeping pill. Sometimes I'd wake up with him on me, having me, or I'd wake up the next morning and be bleeding and see the signs. Jean has since been diagnosed with PTSD from sexual assault. Yeah. Years into her marriage, Jean went to several pastors at Trinity Reformed, a Moscow Christ Church plant, and told them her husband had been raping her. Although they did notify Christ Church leaders, because her then husband's father was an elder who could be disciplined, and if his son continued to sin, the pastors at Trinity, quote, all told me not to report it and that I was wrong. These pastors told me a wife is not allowed to tell her husband no. Yeah. It gets worse from there. They keep pressuring her not to do anything about it. It's an accepted, thing. And the church, Wilson comes out with comments about children who are raped can be married to the person who raped them for if they exhibit repentance and if they pay a fine, right? It's based on a godly law. Jehovah did the same stuff, right? It's all the trafficking, right? It's human trafficking. Amazing. What does this have to do with the Bible and with Bible study and with satanic initiation, right? What does it have to do? We're going to try to make that bridge. We've got just about 15 minutes. But we're going to make a bridge now as we're sitting in that history and we're looking at Jesus in the garden saying, why is he with that naked kid? And everybody has walked out of the room who has any respect for what is going on, right? Everybody's left because we got him in a garden. We got him at 4 a.m. We got him with a naked boy. He's obviously on something. He's confused, and he's throwing around the word trafficker. He's saying, I'm not a trafficker. I'm not a trafficker. So let's figure out, where do we go between his followers and what they produce, this anti-government movement? It doesn't matter that it's America, right? And this is where you Brits and you Canadians know, you got that funny feeling, and you're behind us, right? We're the pioneers, and looks like we're the pioneers with the dark attempts to overthrow the light of justice and democracy. Yeah, fantastic that we have to be the leaders in that. But maybe we can show them. Anyway, Doug is there with his Taliban-esque approach. His very ancient. This is a very Christian thing. It's a very Christian thing to rise up against the government, right? The Christians will tell you that your government is based in a Christian heritage. It's not. Democracy was the invention of a group of people 500 years before Jesus ever pooped his diaper. 500 years. 500 years. And those people built a statue on their big hill of a woman with victory in her hands and a spear in the other. Yeah. So when Wilson speaks of Athena, remember, he's teaching about Athena. I bet you he teaches in his academy, right? He's pushing a curriculum that teaches this classical heritage. Imagine how much he's lying and messing it up. Imagine how much. Chthonius, imagine Doug Wilson talking about Athena. It's disgusting and despicable, isn't it, right? By the way, those dudes that were involved in his church getting in trouble for raping underage girls and whatnot, those guys were helped by his church. They were helped. They were given resources, right? After all of this, after the civil authorities caught them, right? They're still supporting them. Why? Why the Taliban? And why here in America? So we're going to make that bridge, and I want to jump over. I want to jump over now to Ukraine. And for those of you who didn't see it today, I want to take a quick look at an interview that was done by Gnostic Informant. And I think that it'll be obvious why we're doing this. So Chewy, hit it.
Well, I'm not sure, to be quite honest, what they think. They're dead, I presume. But yeah, I'm not actually like ethnically Ukrainian. Just surprise to people. I know. I'm a patriot, obviously, of Ukraine, but I'm not like ethnically Ukrainian. I identify as Ukrainian, obviously, nationality-wise. I was born in Ukraine. I was raised in Ukraine. It's my country. It's my people, obviously. But ethnically, I'm Greek, and I'm also partially Polish and partially Russian.
You're Greek. Wow.
I know the last bit stings.
The person who wrote this,
Like,
the person who wrote this is probably likes you 10 times more now because he's also fluent in Greek.
Oh,
I know the person that wrote this. Yeah, he's probably like, well, it probably just blew his mind right now.
Yeah, but my father was Greek, basically, full on. And yeah, he was killed, unfortunately, in July by Russian artillery. So yeah, so I don't know about like the ancestors, what they think about this whole mess. But I do think like this is a generational battle. Like, it's like generations prior of Ukrainians have fought the same battle against Russian imperialism and oppression. And they fought for our right to exist as a country and to rule ourselves.
All my life I was raised with American flag. I thought I owned liberty and democracy. I thought I owned these things. And today I saw that oracular voice come right out of time and space and bring itself alive. Yeah. Her father was killed. Anastasia's father was killed by Vlad Putin. Vlad Putin, who is also, as Anastasia pointed out, connected with religious groups that are pushing an LGBTQ plus destruction, total destruction, wipe them out. Right? This is the type of person who goes to the protests and gets the bruises. She's the one. Anastasia, shame on us. Shame on us. Right? Now we have a chance. We have a chance to do something here. We have a chance to somehow be involved with this rebirth, this historic rebirth of the spirit of democracy, of Athena herself, right? Next one, please.
So it's something we deal with, I guess, the same thing as they did before. And I do think that ancestors of Ukrainian people, I guess you could say, would be very proud for us continuing their fight. And yeah, I sometimes say that Ukraine is like the phoenix, basically, bird. Because it just revives all the time, you know. And this is just our history, you know. And I really hope that this time will be the last one. That this time will be the one that we will actually win, and they will be forever seen as, you know, as what we are, as Ukraine. It's very meaningful, actually, because we have been not heard for many, many years. So people did not hear us at all, our history, the way we see it, our struggle. So they only heard the side of the conqueror, let's put it like that, which is Russia, right? And so for us to be heard and to be finally, I guess, accepted and admitted as people, as a country, is very important to us, for sure, because it's something that we really struggled with.
So her ancestors, the Cimmerians, would bring her forward as a Sibyl to show you the future in the present through the past. These are the people that were connected to those Thracians. These are the Scythian tribes that were perpetuating the oestrus, the oestromania, that state of madness where their oracle, the Medea, who was queen of Georgia, right, where she would bring freedom. And how did she bring freedom? She brought freedom with her voice by burning a bride alive. Yes, it has to go. It has to, we have to repel this. People have to know what the murderers of the mothers and the daughters are doing. You and I are sitting here tonight, right? I'm not worried about bombs coming in, right? But I know we are on the verge of losing our republic and tearing ourselves apart. I am proud that my government is fighting to defend Anastasia. I'm proud. I'm proud there are Americans who are over there right now doing their thing. And it's my hope that these men and women who stand up against the foulness of the creeps whose greed compels them to kill mothers and daughters and fathers. Yeah, Anastasia's father. As a father, Anastasia, I can tell you, I know your father is proud. I know he's proud. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. I had a quick passage for you from Nonus that I wanted to talk about. I think we'll save it for next time. Fair enough to let you know it's she, the goddess, right? The great mother who sows the universe. That's how she's go ahead and put it up there, Olivia. Let's just take a quick look at it. Excuse me. Let's just take a quick look at it. Yes. You who are the seed scatterer of the ionic organization. Yep. Whoop, more physics, right? You, mother of loves. Mother of loves. There's no leader of the cows that's bothering me, right? There's no leader of the herd. There's no desire for sleep. It's not the insanity of love, that which dawn shows. That's not what I am bothered by, nor the love of Selene when she is with her beloved dreamer. It's not these things. It's my mourning for my father Laius, the loosener, Bacchus. Please stand beside your brother. Stand beside your brother. Yeah. It was Medea. We don't have this text, but it was Medea. If there's one last thing that I could say to Anastasia, maybe directly, it's I know of a Cimmerian Sibyl from the ancient world, from Kharkiv, before it was a city. Yeah, and that Cimmerian Sibyl with Greek blood She was known for her power, for her tremendous power, says the man who possessed her oracles. She was known for her tremendous power, the power of her virginity, the power of her magic. The maid of Kharkiv is the golden dragon. Yeah, gorgeous. Anastasia, I hope that sometime you can come to Satanic Initiation. I will always reserve a place for that power. Yeah, but those of us who are here, there's something that we can do. And Gnostic Informant very wisely asked her, what can we do? What can we do? We're right at that point. Let's not just sit around. Let's figure out how to support the beauty, how to defend the Virgin, right? That great Acropolis that gave us our democracy. I would love for you to come on, Maid of Kharkiv, and tell us the basics of, bring us to that world and give us your voice, and show us the future, bring us to the place that we can be people of honor. Yeah. We don't have anybody else around. I meant to have Rob over from the UK to give us an update on the intellect of the UK push within the club, and also we don't have our Canadian representative. It's just me tonight. Everybody's on vacation. Thank you for an excellent second season, and thank you for the incredible work. And those of you who are doing it know who I'm talking to, the incredible work that you are doing. And this museum is building in strength. And now let's give it that oracular voice. Let's bring it back. And to Doug Wilson, creepy stuff, brother. Yeah, creepy stuff. Oh, and by the way, your Jesus was arrested in a public park with a naked boy. Looks like you're in the right business.
Show me the girl I never met. I want it so bad. Where is that golden palace? Where is that horse called destiny? I think she ran